Number 14 going for the kick. That is Samson.
And it's good.
So that is 7-0 for Laval.
Okay, let's hope to see Carleton really go strong. Foster with the kick. Carleton did move up in a pretty good line right there altogether. Ball's down. Laval's over. Ball's out. That was a nice switch right there, taken down by number 8. Ball's out. And it's moving down the line. She did cut back in right there. Hit a B gap. Laval was really quick and strong over that ruck. Oh, ball was loose. And it looks like it was just knocked on a little bit right by Carleton right there. So it will be Laval's ball. And the ball's kicked.
It'll be a line out.
And it looks like we're getting a little bit of rain. Always fun to play rugby in the rain. It's not a mud, it's a turf field, unfortunately, so it won't get all muddy, which I'm sure the players appreciate.
It just makes the ball that much slippery, though, so make sure that you have really good finger grips on so that it doesn't continue to be knocked on.
Oh. There was turn on that ball. I was holding off of it to see if the ref would call it. There is a bit of wind and rain, so that can always affect it a little bit. But it looks like it'll be a Carleton ball.
Opting for a scrum.
I will say their scrums have been pretty good so far in the game. Last year we saw a little bit of high scrums, a little bit of collapsing. So it's good to see them out so strong on the first game, and this especially because this game was going to be a bit of an uphill battle with Laval's really good track record. And that came right out the tunnel. We're going to go scrum down again.
I always kind of feel bad for people who are in the scrum, because when you're consistently having to redo it over and over and over again, patience can be wearing, especially when it's kind of farther into the game. So luckily this is just at the beginning. But
both of them. And then once you're settled, they should have the drop on save. If not,
Okay, ball's in. Ball's out, 8 pick. Right up the side, good couple yards. And Carleton's over, the ball's out. A lot of tight plays to get more space. It looks like it made it to outside center on this last play. Carleton's over. And it's chipped up. Caught by Laval, but Carleton is there. Let's see if they'll make the tackle. Great ball by Bergeron on Carleton, getting them down quick. Chipped up by Laval.
Great
Caught.
catch by McKenna Taylor.
Laval was quick on that ball. Carleton's over the ruck. Carleton ball. Passed it down a few. Down on the 45. Jaden Spence with the ball. Carleton's over. Ball's out.
Great little tip.
There we go. It looks like Carleton's getting their groove back. A little bounce on the ball, but it did go backwards, so we're going to keep playing. Beautiful ball from the scrummy. Carleton's over. We love to see that. Laval was really quick to that ball. Jaden Spence was able to keep. Oh! Laval did seemingly win that ruck. It's getting a little bit messy holding onto that ball just with the turnover.
It seemed that that ball wasn't quite
Yeah.
secured in a ruck.
Yes, but Carleton did make it up. She was able to ensure that there was a not releasing call. And that's back 10 for Laval. Looks like Jaden Spence is going to kick it out. That was really good, I think, for Carleton to have Jaden kick it out, especially because she typically tap and goes. So it's just a good way to keep Laval on their toes.
Now it seems that Laval has been kind of having an interesting lineup where they will go out and then come back in, which makes setting up a little bit interesting when you're on the opposing team.
Yes. Let's see. Hopefully Carleton wins this line out.
Great
There we
job.
go. Looks like
That was a great run by Malak Seifel Nassar.
there we go, Carleton. Not releasing. Yeah, Carleton is doing a really good job at getting to the ball quick on one hand, but on the other hand, you would hope that, especially if they're running those tight balls back into traffic, that they would ensure that they're going in groups or growing in pods so they can be right there right away so that type of situation doesn't happen.
Make sure that there's some support. One thing that Laval is doing really well is that when they are catching those balls, they are already in movement. So they are catching it with running feet. Carleton is sometimes doing that, but for
Mostly flat-footed,
Yeah.
I would say.
additionally, it just seems like some of those passes are just off the fingertips. So people aren't grabbing them with grippy hands, but just at the last second. And that can make it a bit difficult when you're anticipating catching that ball.
Yes, but I will say their scrum this season, Hannah McGregor, her balls are really pretty out of the rucks, especially because it's been a little bit messy. So it's really nice to see someone with such nice hands so early in the season. So early at the first game of the season, I should say. Okay, so it's scrum down Laval.
Now Carleton has to make sure that they really secure this end zone line.
Yeah, beautiful scrum though. Ball's out, Laval. They're attacking the gap. Carleton took them down just before the try line. We'll see if they'll rumble it in. Try Laval.
Oh, do you want me to add the Twitter to this? Can you add an output or does it stop the first one? Do you remember? Like if we add another output while we're live?
Open it for quality. If you create a new destination, it doesn't say it's going to delete this one.
Okay.
And if they make this kick, that will be 14-0. But we'll wait until we see what the completion looks like.
But if everything goes to shit, then we're blaming Twitter again. Okay. They did.
It's always interesting to see every kicker's routine. Some of the steps are so similar and some of them are so different. So
Exactly. Some people do sways, some people do tippy taps.
there we go.
Good.
14 for second kick of the game. Or second convert of the game. Yeah, looks like McGregor is being taped up a little bit in the end zone, just coming off this quick try/water break. So hopefully she's feeling okay and strong.
Scrum halves do a lot of the work on the field, so they are very, very much needed, like every other position in rugby, but they definitely are the key link between the backs and the forwards.
There we go. Mid-range kick. And it bounces out of bounds. Looks like the refs are conversing a little bit. Okay. Line out Laval. The rain has stopped, but it is still a tad windy. So hoping for straight lineouts, keep the flow of the game going.
A bit of an overcast is better than the sun beating down. So they're
That's
lucky
for
in that
sure.
sense.
Okay. Ball caught by Laval, and looks like they opted for a maul. Carleton is doing a great job of contesting at Laval. It looks like they're going to be forced. It's turning a bit to take the ball out.
Carleton does a great job of coming up, just making sure that they are in a straight line in the case that someone does decide to break away from this
Yeah.
maul.
Great contest with this maul. If I were Laval, I'd be taking the ball out pretty soon. Yep, they're on the ground, and the ball's out. Chipped up, blocked just a little bit by Malak. Claire File, and dropped it just a tad backwards. Into traffic. Laval was really on top of File. Carleton's over the ball. Ruck is secured. Carried into traffic by Rhodes. Ball's out. A lot of tight balls. There we go. Carleton made sure to go up in a pod in that. Get the ball quick. Ball's chipped up. Right into the hands of 15 for Laval. Past to 14. She's making really good headway. They're running a lot of lateral lines, but just to get around, she's going. And she's in the try zone. She's going to run it more to the middle. There we go. Just to make the convert easier, because wherever you tap the ball down, you do have to kick along that vertical line. So
Yes. And I believe that was number 8, 6.
this is the first time we're going to be seeing 14 kick from the other side of the field. So it'll be a good chance for us to see if she's got all of her angles down for these converts.
And it seems like they have taken Hannah McGregor off at 9, and they have put in number 23, Maria Michaud. And that will be the first substitution off of the game.
And it's good.
And that is 21-0 for Laval.
Carleton does have a bunch of fans out in the stands today, so we hope that their cheering keeps boosting their morale. Because this is still, Carleton still has the chance to come back from this. They just got to make sure that they keep their mental in the game and not on the tries already scored.
There's still 19 minutes remaining. No, we're 19 minutes into the game, sorry.
There you go. Happens Sunday long weekend.
Exactly.
But we did all make it out here to watch this game. Always good to have a nice, warm but cloudy day to watch some rugby. And that ball's out by Laval. It will be a Carleton lineup.
Now, the one thing that seems to be happening is when Laval is taking the ball up, they are tending to run those lateral lines, which is kind of throwing Carleton a little bit off balance.
Yeah, because you're right. It's not very, it's not something technical that you learn in rugby to ever run lateral, but because they're so fast, they are able to get around Carleton's defense. So it is just something that they would have to get used to. That was a great carry.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a great line out in general, actually.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, Laval was able to get just a hand on that ball, but Carleton secured it. And the ball's out. You can definitely see Carleton's confidence in getting into the flow of the game as it's going forward, regardless of the score. It's looking like a lot better rugby. There we go. Carleton should have held onto that ball. It's hard to get nervous, but Laval's carrying the ball up the field with another positive tackle by one of their props.
And it seems like that ref did decide to make the call just because there is an injured player down and the play was beginning to kind of shift over into that area. It was a great call, just making sure that their athletes are being taken care of.
It looks like she will be able to stand, which is really good to see.
Great to see that Oulette is up, back and moving, being able to continue to play in the game. And they will be opting for a scrum down for Laval. Just because that play was cut short due to their injured player, so still giving them the possession.
Great loud calls. I don't know if you guys can hear that over the broadcast, but that ref was making it all the way up to the box with his voice. Okay, Laval's won the scrum. That was pretty clean, pretty uncontested by Carleton. Oh, the ball did bounce and knock forward just a little bit. So that'll be Carleton's ball.
Yes. Again, like I said, I always feel bad because it seems that right as one scrum happens, another one tends to happen, and the forwards put in a lot of work when they are in those scrums. So not only do they have to push, but right after they have to make sure that they're getting out safely and back into their positions to make sure that they are ready to be in the game.
Okay, so the ball's in. Out, 8 picked by Carleton. Looks like there was a bit of a jumble in there, waiting to see who has possession. Carleton remained possession. A little bit of butterfingers right there. The ball is out. It looks like Laval was able to get their hands on it. And the ball's out. And they're down. Laval is running a lot of deep balls, which is good because it allows them to run onto the ball, which is why they're able to make so much space off their plays and really get good balls in those A and B gaps.
It seems that, I don't know if it's just because it's the first game of the season, but the throws and the catching on some of these balls is a bit not to the standard I think that most coaches would want it to be. So that's definitely something that both teams should continue to tighten up going into the rest of the season.
I agree. I know it's the first season of the game, so there's always first game nerves, especially for Laval, but for a team of their caliber, they did go very far last season, undefeated in the RSEQ, so we would hope that they would have better grips on the ball. The ball's out. File is down. Carleton is really aggressive over that scrum, which we love to see. Ball's out. 8-man carrying the ball up. She found a gap. Great space made. Carleton was quick to support her. See, it's those balls. The first touch out from after the scrummy passes just seems Carleton holds onto it for a bit too long, like almost just a second, and that second gives Laval enough time to catch up.
This is a great run by Haas.
She's been a great ball carrier this game. Really quick ball by Malak. Carleton's really close to that line. They want to make sure they stay in bounds. There we go. Ball's out. Free falling ball. Carleton was able to keep possession.
It just seems that the person who is receiving off of McKenna Taylor doesn't seem to be like maybe as deep or as short. It just kind of falls into that gray area.
Yeah. Over the ruck. So for rucks, you got to make sure that your feet stay on the ground.
Holding your weight, not driving down.
Okay, and the ball is kicked. Caught. Her foot was on the line, but that was an amazing catch.
At least trying to make the effort just to try and see if you can keep it in bounds. If you can't, that's all good too, but at least making the attempt can really like make the difference instead of having your forwards have to set up for that line out and taking that extra time. So.
And while we're at this break and play, we want to say thank you to all of the watchers for your patience with our broadcast today. We are so happy you could join us for this home opening game at the Perch.
We were having a few technical difficulties at the beginning, but we're glad that we are now able to broadcast for you.
Looks like they're going to maul. It's turning. Oh, okay. They reestablished. Carleton's just having a hard time keeping up. Okay, the ball's out. Really deep and long pass. Such a good catch by number 13 on Laval's side. Not releasing.
Great
Carleton
job.
really needed that call just to reestablish themselves a little bit coming off that maul. It did get a little messy, as happens with mauls. So they really need to get this ball out of the red zone because, as we've seen, once Laval gets that close, they're really persistent with getting that try.
Exactly. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for a kick, but at least carrying it up, getting those few meters, maybe making some space so that in a few moments that they may kick.
Deeper ball. Carleton's really got to make sure they're tighter with their passes this close to their end zone. Laval's really fast.
I do think that what was happening was they were trying to create some space in order to give it to McKenna Taylor to be able to kick, but just that fumble of the ball did not provide that opportunity. So they will now continue having to fight right deep into the red zone and hope that there is no ball turnover.
Congestion at the center of the field. That 8-man is really having an amazing game
Great
today.
job, I
And it's chipped
there
up.
You
Exactly
go.
what Carleton needed. Ball bounces even further back. Great chase by number 11. We love to see wingers getting some action, especially that she's midfield now. Big tackle by Zoe O'Connor.
She did a great job of putting pressure onto those fullbacks out there, making sure that the pressure is being applied really well so that they do feel that they need to make a decision.
Good job, Ravens, getting Laval to just scramble just a little bit, lose some of their flow, send the ball out of bounds so it can be a Ravens ball.
Like I said, it just seems to be those little passes that need to be tightened up to make sure, because on that one it was just a pass that was sent out right behind somebody and just hit the outside line. So
Foster throwing in the line out. Carleton won the line out. That was really clean. They've been really clean with their line outs this year, or this season so far. Okay. There we go. Knocked on. For those watching who don't know, in rugby, every ball you attempt to touch, you have to attempt to catch. You can't simply intentionally knock it forward or fumble it out of someone's hand.
I do think that one was offside just because when she was running onto it, there seemed to be a little bit of a weird line up there.
Weird overlap. Oh, I thought that ball was out of bounds. Seems so did some of the players on the field because they were slow to react. Once again, that inside center at Carleton just needs to be, the inside center and fly half need to be a bit quicker with their hands on Carleton off of those scrums and rucks, just because that's where Laval was able to, regardless of whether they were offside or not, the holding onto the ball for those extra 5 seconds is why, or those extra few seconds, maybe not even 5, gives Laval a chance to catch up once that ball is out and really contest their lines.
are going to give this line out another go.
And the ball's up. Carleton just tips it over. Looks like she got attacked standing. It almost looked like they were trying to create a maul.
Wonder if she just knew that she wasn't going to have enough time to pass it out, and so instead she said, you know, people are going to be on their way to help support me, so I'll take this one instead.
Get a proper set piece up.
Oh, great hit by Haas. She just deflected.
Yeah, it looks like Carleton was playing advantage, so
They will be taking it back.
thank you for finishing my sentence. And it's kicked for touch.
Sometimes you get so involved in watching the game that, you know,
You cut off halfway.
Yeah, train of thought loses halfway. Now, I think it's going to get a little bit hot because the sun is out. So, players may become a bit more tired as the game goes on.
And that ball's in. Carleton's lineouts have been so clean.
So I think they will be taking it to a scrum instead for Laval. I'll be interested to see what Laval does if they do end up winning this scrum.
Yeah, it's an interesting line they have set up with their backs. It's kind of staggered, not quite flat, but definitely not very deep. Very nice catch,
That was
keeping
great.
that ball going, really making sure to commit the player and go down the line.
Oh, and it was just called back. And it'll be a scrum down for Carleton now.
Yes, I believe that was called a forward pass.
Yeah, I think so. Just as they were tipping it off or something, it must have been caught a little bit forward.
But I will say that was a really beautiful line.
It was a good play, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, Carleton tends to get a bit jumbled when they're this close in their red zone, so we want to hope that they get it out as quick as possible. Just to reestablish some lines, create some space, get some set plays going. 8-man once again. This is Haas's game for sure. You can tell she's really helping to set the tone
100%.
with the team. Deeper ball. Chipped out of bounds.
Now, it's interesting because McKenna Taylor, in her first few seasons, she was playing on the wing, and slowly as some veteran players have left, she stepped into the role of becoming a fly halfer in the centers. So that's really interesting to see how dynamic she's become over the years, just in being able to do a lot more kicking and a lot more like set plays instead of just, she's speedy, so on the side she's definitely has that speed, but to be able to use that strategicness in the center is also really important.
Okay. They're set up. Ball's up. Carleton didn't contest it. I think they're used to the Laval mull strategy by now. Carleton's doing a really job at keeping that steady. It's turning just a little bit. Laval's gaining momentum. Carleton's quick to get on the back. Hold up the ball just a little bit more. A little bit more turning.
It seems like they have been able to gain a few meters.
Ball's out. It's going down the line. Really nice skip pass. She has a lot of space. Foul, unable to complete that tackle, unfortunately. It will be a try for Laval. Scored by number 15.
Taldif Samson. Yeah, see, just towards that end, when they come out of the mall, it seems that some people are committed to the players that they are tackling, and if you are a bit unsure as to where the player is going, something that can really help is making sure that you call the player in which you have taken on, saying, I got the one in the yellow boots, or I got the one in the pink boots. And being able to call those shifts and stuff if there does seem to be some movement.
.14 with the convert. Just off center. And it's good.
Number 14, Samson, has been making all of their converts today, being a big part of collecting as many points as possible as they can get. And that will be 28-0 for Laval. Now Carleton has an interesting start to their season, just because a lot of their top try scorers and convert kickers are no longer playing at Carleton, so they are having to reestablish a new team as opposed to Laval, who has continued to keep a majority of their players.
And Laval chips it right on back. This will be Files' ball. She got her hands on this one. She's running up. And not releasing. You can see that a little bit. It seemed like she just got a little bit turned around and stuck on her shoulders and stomach.
I do think it was a great job that she let that ball bounce once just to see kind of how far it was going to go rather than anticipate that it was going to come straight to her and be able to actually get a nice touch on that ball. It seems at some points in this game that it's been a bit hard to maintain possession and actually catching those balls or maintaining those passes. So,
and it looks like Laval opted for a scrum down, which is interesting on two fronts because Carleton has been doing a really good job at contesting the scrums, but they do seem to be a little bit slow getting out of it just for their forwards to reestablish their lines and support. So it's interesting to see what Laval chose to do. It's chipped up just a little bit. Looked like it was heading out of bounds. Files chasing it down, got her hands on the ball. Great stiff arm. Taken down by Laval, number 11. Carleton seems to be over that ruck, establishing control. Ball's out.
She did a great job at just rolling on top of it just to make sure that that extra move provided that there was somebody there to support her, which is great.
Okay, ball's out. Laval was really aggressive with that. I believe that was because Carleton came in just a smidgen, not through the channel. They came in through the side of that ruck, just to the very end to scramble to try and keep possession of that ball because Laval was able to take control of it, and they kicked for touch at the 20. Want to bet that Laval's going to run a maul this close to the...
It seems like that's something that they've been doing often. So it's kind of interesting because I feel like not a lot of teams are quite well versed in mauling. But maybe this is something that they're trying to bring into this season just to kind of be a little bit even more dynamic than they already are as national champions. But
there we go.
And it does
uncontested into a maul. Carleton's doing a great job at holding it up. Okay, scrum down Ravens. You can see the fatigue
And they're
entering this scrum as the sun starts to peek through towards the end of the half. Okay, ball's in. Pick by the 8-man. Oh, Laval started to learn the strategy and was really quick to Haas. It's okay, Carleton stayed over the ball. The ball's out. Attacking that A gap. The ball was loose. Carleton was able to recover it, but was... And that ball is out. So a lot happened there. Sorry, I cut off mid-sentence again. So Carleton was able to remain possession of it, but because the ball did bounce, they grabbed it, but Laval was right there to kind of pick the player up and dump them out of bounds.
Exactly. Yeah, I think everybody is now looking for a water break after this play.
And we are hoping that the water break occurs because the last play happens, and the last play is not a try on Carleton. I'm sure that is not the way they would like to end the half. They are making good progress down the field for Laval, getting that ball deep. She's still not down. Carleton really needs to start completing those tackles. A couple yards maybe from the try line.
And that is a try for Laval by number. Just missed that.
Okay, Samson with the convert. I'm sure her team has all the faith in the world right now in her.
She's been succeeding so far in this game and scoring all of their converts, so.
And it's good.
And that is halftime.
Yep, I'm sure that's not the way Carleton wanted their half to end, but I'm sure they'll come back stronger than ever in the second half.
We are going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we will be back to discuss a little bit of how the first half went. So.
Hi, I'm Sydney Weaver. I am a fifth-year student at Carleton University, and I'm an adapted athlete in the sport of bocce. When I talk to people and they're like, how did you start in bocce? I'm always like, I started playing at Carleton. Like, I was always proud to say I attended Carleton, but when they showed commitment and dedication to bringing bocce and keeping the bocce program alive, it meant a lot to me, like the fact that they were willing to make that commitment. Outside in the community, there isn't a lot of grassroots opportunities for students with disabilities or young adults with disabilities to get involved. So for Carleton to make a space for students with disabilities, it really does mean a lot, because if it wasn't for Carleton and their commitment to inclusion, I wouldn't have had the opportunities within the sport that I've had.
I know myself as a former Carleton student. I lived in residence for 4 years. If I could have rolled out of my residence building, used the tunnels, and came to this gym to play every week, would have been a lot easier. Yeah, my name is Sam Graham, and I'm the Vice President of the Ottawa Carleton Wheelchair Sports Association. And I also work as a disabilities coordinator at the Paul Men's Center at Carleton. Our organization, OCWSA, is the oldest wheelchair basketball program in Canada. This is kind of the first opportunity that a local organization has had access to Carleton facilities, which for parasport programs, for programs for athletes with disabilities, access to premier facilities is very difficult. We feel very fortunate to have access to this space. It makes it very easy for students to come and join in. And I think we've done a good job merging the facility space that Carleton has offered with us to helping them get their Junior Ravens program off the ground. So it's been a nice partnership.
The fact that Carleton is willing to put the energy into these programming for their students first and foremost, but then also opening it up to the community is just so huge. My name is Darda Sales. I am the para swimming development consultant working with Swim Ontario to enhance programming for individuals with impairments. With it being tied to a university, I think it's so many opportunities that are there. There is, first of all, there's the passionate people behind it that are recognizing that this is something important to do for the student body, but also for the community, and how it is a gap currently in the system. And we like to think of universities as being forward thinking and leaders. And I think in this realm, Carleton definitely is. And I think it also shows that Carleton is taking steps to provide opportunities for their students that aren't available at other universities. They're recognizing that 15 to 20% of their population has some form of impairment, and they need to be able to provide programming for them across the university, but also within the recreation realm. And so I'm really excited to see how this program will grow and how we can bring people in and address those initial steps towards whatever is next for them in their swimming adventures.
As these programs grow and as we identify new potential programs, I think what's just really, really important is the value of that collaboration and the value of the partnership, and ensuring that each member of that team feels as though they are part of that team. So my name is Emily Glossop, and I'm the Executive Director of Abilities Ottawa. And we are an organization that advocates, educates, and facilitates program in and around inclusive and parasport programming. We try our best to be aware of all of the organizations in our community who provide inclusive and parasport programming. And I think for us, it's really important that we recognize that if we work together as a collective or partner or collaborate on things, we can make really wonderful things happen. It all started with a grant for post-secondary schools and institutions to be able to engage their own students with disabilities in recreation and sport. And now it's grown to not just their students, but also the community. And so this started with the Ontario Parasport Collective, support from TAAG, Toronto Accessible Sport Council, support locally here from the Abilities Ottawa team. And then we have all of our amazing sport organizations. We have the Ottawa Carleton Wheelchair Sports Association. We have dance and our dance instructor who's come in to create the inclusive dance program. We have bocce, which comes from the Ontario and Canadian Cerebral Palsy Sports Associations. We have fitness training with our qualified instructors supporting students and community members in their fitness goals. And then we're also now including para swimming. So that's a link and partnership and collaboration with Swim Ontario. You know, so for Abilities Ottawa to have had that initial connection with Paul Menton and the READ initiative, it's just pretty amazing to see how one small little idea has now grown to a new department within Carleton University. You know, it's come full circle. We're now including our whole community, and we'll just see how far we can go.
The biggest thing with Carleton having this program is that students with disabilities have the chance to feel included in an athletic environment. It's really changed my outlook and who I am. And for that reason, Carleton Athletics and the bocce program will always be a part of who I am.
Hello and welcome back for the 2024-2025 Ravens rugby season. I'm Eliza.
And I'm Tiffany, and we're here to give you just a quick little first half recap, which I know some of you might have missed a little bit. Once again, apologies for those technical difficulties, but we have some highlights that we'd love to point out before we get back into the game.
So we are starting off the second half with 35-0 for Laval. Some top try scorers have been number 7 from Laval, Oulette. Number 14 has been doing all of their conversion kicks, so that is Samson. Number 12, Charbonneau. Number 6, Reyes, and number 15, Tardif Samson has scored the last 2. So
yeah, and a key player that I want to point out from Carleton is their 8-man. You can really tell she's been setting the tone for the game. Haas has been phenomenal. which you can tell because she did play for Team Canada recently.
Yes, U20 in Wales, and so she's a very key player to this team this season. Carleton has lost a fair few of their top try scorers, and so they're kind of trying to reestablish their team coming up in this next season.
Yeah, and so far in the game, our score right now is 35-0 for Carleton.
For Laval.
Oh, for Laval.
At Carleton.
At Carleton. And we're really wanting to hope to see Carleton put something on the board. Last year they did lose by quite a big margin, so we're hoping to see this year they really put up a fight and keep their head in the game, spirits up.
Laval
really do well.
is a fairly dynamic team. They were last year's national champions. They won against the UVic Vikings. So it's no surprise that they are quite a hard team to go up against. Having this as your first game is no easy feat, but at least it gives them something to have under their belt, at least going into this game. I think one thing that we have noticed from both sides is that their passing seems to be not quite up to par with what I think both coaches would probably want it to be. A little bit of the scrambling to get hands on it. I don't know if there's anything else that you've noticed, but
I really want to see Carleton run onto the ball a bit more. You can see Laval's really getting a couple positive, like going down with some positive lines, and I really want to see Carleton be more aggressive on those tackles, just to get some positive tackles on their side 100%. As well.
And now they're a bit more familiar with, I think, the way that Laval is trying to play off a lot of those lineouts right in Carleton's red zone. They are opting for a lot of malts, which is kind of something that people don't typically practice up against.
But Carleton has been doing a really good job at contesting them, so
100%.
Always good to see. Overall, really good rugby, especially for the first game of the season.
Exactly.
Carleton is getting that home field advantage, and they have a lot of fans on their side cheering them on. So we want to see that continue throughout the second half of the game.
It's great to see, and for the rest of the season.
And honestly, for the rest of the season.
I know that in the next coming weeks, there will be going up against some really great teams as well. So always having fans to come out and support is a really key aspect to maintaining the upbeat environment that every athlete loves to play in. So yeah, feel free if you are in Ottawa to come down and watch any of the games at Carleton. Always appreciate the support that's coming out on the field. So
yeah, there we go. It's a beautiful day for rugby. The sun did go away, so I'm sure the players are really happy to start the second half in a bit of an overcast. Not a lot of rain right now, which is also great, but the shade is also really nice. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for watching. We're going to swing you right on back over to commercial break. We'll see you at the start of the second half.
See you.
Intelligent and creative. I am bold and determined. I rely on teamwork and I am accountable. I am a competitor who will defend my territory.
Second half of the women's rugby
home opener
against Laval.
Yeah, long time no see, everyone. There we go. A quick chip up the field, caught by Laval #1. Carleton just needed to be a little bit quicker getting out of that area.
The rain
Number 5 carrying the ball. I'm so sorry. That was a really good carrying to contact, but continue.
The rain has started, so it'll be interesting to see how this kind of plays out in the second half of this game, because the ball will become quite slick.
And it is, you can see the wind picking up just in the trees along the background. So those passes, well, maybe we'll see if Laval shifts to more of a short, quick pass rather than the long, deep ones, just because of how the wind could affect that in their strategy moving forward.
If you have just tuned in now, the score is 35-0 for Laval. Starting in this second half.
Okay, scrum down Laval. Ball's in, and it's out, tossed, caught the ball running. Really good keeping the ball in play for Laval, getting it to the very end. Looks like the winger cut back in just a little bit, and she is taken down. Not releasing. Really good job of Carleton being that quick to the ruck to ensure that happens. Looks like the rain is picking up just a little bit more.
That was a really good run, though, by a number 11 on Laval, La Jeunesse.
And the ball is kicked for touch by Spence. The lineup will be interesting, especially with the wind getting this strong.
The first half seemed to be pretty mild. A little bit of sun, a little bit of overcast, and some wind, but
Beautiful ball. Carleton did a really good job at just holding it at the top to give themselves some more time. Ball's out, almost at the wing. Claire File, great hands on the ball. She's running it up the field. Tipped it on. Number 11 on Carleton's side. Make sure to get that extra roll in until her team could be there to support her.
great
Ball's
job by
out.
O'Connor.
Hitting that A gap. Oh, knocked on just a little bit. Unfortunate for Carleton, but that was a really great run they had. The ball was a little shallow and wobbly in the pass. Once again, that could be attributed to the wind.
But their number 9, Maria Michaud, I think she did catch on that, that pass wasn't too great. Went up and did a quick little apology to Haas.
And it looks like it might be Carleton scrum regardless, so it seems they're playing advantage. And their backs have split the field, so it'll be interesting to see which way they choose to run the ball. Ball's in, out, 8 pick. Here we go, excited to see this by Haas. A quick tip off to number 12, Malak.
Great job by Saiful Nassar.
And the ball's out. Ooh, that was a tight pass. Really good catch under pressure. Good to see Carleton over the ball. Ball's out. Down the wing. Laval's really good at keeping pressure on them.
They're
getting
quick
off
to
that
come up.
line.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. That was the breakaway Carleton needed, I feel. Unfortunate to see it get called back, but it is good to see them with their heads in the game this close to the start of the second half. It shows a very promising start for the rest of the
100%. No, I think Carleton has only made one substitution this game, and that was for their 9. I don't believe that Laval has made any substitutions thus far into the game. So they are playing with some refreshed but still tired bodies.
Okay, the ball is in. The scrum is turning a lot. Okay, and Laval got it and chipped the ball up the field just a little bit. Caught by number 10 on Carleton's side. Meteor pressure by Laval. Carleton seems to be over that ruck. There we go. Caught in a squat. Once again, we are happy that she got her hands on the ball, but a squat really does mean incredibly flat feet to get that run going. I think Carleton is really starting to feel the pressure by Laval, which can be made worse, especially because they would be having to switch from longer passes to shorter ones with the wind. File down. She's alone, but receives back up by Haas. Scrum his hands on the ball. Ball's out. Spence down, getting a couple yards. Ball's out. Down the wing. Attacking, not quite a B gap, maybe a C gap. There we go. Heading toward the wing. Once again, Laval's there immediately, and Carleton needs to be better at getting that support there. Not releasing. Looks like they tapped and went. Really deep into Carleton's red zone.
They really took advantage of that tap and go, and it's paid off for Laval.
A little bit of congestion just in that far corner. Laval's bringing it down the wing where they have tons of space to go, basically free and clear. Try Laval.
And that
Scored by number 15.
Tardif Sampson. Now she has scored 2 other tries in this game, so this will be her 3rd of the game. This convert will be attempted by number 14, Sampson, who has converted all of their tries thus far.
None quite in this one, though, and none on the side of the field. So we will see. It looks like the wind is blowing in the opposite direction than she needs to kick it, so she'll need a little bit more force in this kick. And it's good, as expected. Sampson's really been sure to just make sure Laval gets those extra few points on the board. Really good to see this early in the season. And she was one of their top scorers last season as well. In the entire RSEQ bracket, so really good to see her keeping that up this season and continuing to grow as a player.
As we said, Laval was last year's national champions. They went against the University of Victoria Vikings. So definitely a hard team to go up against for a first game.
Midfield kick by Forrester. Caught by Laval, number 4, straight into traffic, but she did get, I want to say, about 10 yards up the field. You can see it in Carleton. It looks like their players are getting a little bit tired. A little slow to get back on side.
It was a great run, though, by Laval's Charbonneau.
I will say Carleton is quite lucky regarding that knock-on with Laval. They were really slow to get back, which could have been their downfall, especially with how fast some of the Laval players are proving to be, which is expected. They have had no subs, and it's been warm, rainy, cloudy, all in one type of day. Okay, the ball's in. 8 pick, here we go. Great to see that teamwork between
Haas and Saiful Nassar.
We're really finishing each other's sentences today. I love it. But yeah, that 8 pick and the tip have been working like a charm for Carleton. Great to see their players have such chemistry.
Great into contact for Essa Hobbs as well. Setting up for a scrum around the 40.
From a set, ball's in, kicked out, unfortunately, just a little bit too hard of a tap.
And that 9 was right there, and she was able to grab that, switch it over, so.
Big tackle by Winger on Carleton's side.
Carleton does a fairly good job of getting back into their defensive lineup, which is great.
They swung the ball out, tapped just backwards a little bit,
Great pressure by Rhodes.
forcing Laval to scramble to get back on side. Up the wing, number 4, tipped on to 18. Tackle not quite completed. There we go. Laval has been brought down. Scrummy's got hands on the ball. Ball's out. The ball's out. That ball's out as day. If I was Carleton, I'd be attacking that. It's not often you see a team like that make those types of mistakes. So when they happen, you really got to knock them off balance.
Capitalize. It does appear that Laval did make some substitutions during the half. They now have number 16, Gagné, number 17, Leclerc, and I believe number 18, De Villiers-Mat.
A lot of fresh players for Laval, which is proving to be good because you can definitely see the difference in their playing style. Carleton's side is just a tad more tired. Beautiful line out. That ball's out. First ball was a little bit wobbly. Second ball was a little bit high.
Great
but
run.
Molac has been doing a great job taking that into contact and finding those gaps.
That did seem to be knocked on there just in the ruck. But Malak Saiful Nassar has been a key member to the Carleton team. She did graduate, I believe, 2 years ago, and has now come back to do her master's. So it's great to see that she's chosen to come back and play for Carleton.
There we go. The ball's in. Coming out slowly at the... There we go. Carleton was really quick to that tackle, but it seems like they managed to achieve that by being offside, unfortunately. So it'll be a penalty against Carleton. Looks like Laval's going to kick for touch. Oh, and it stayed in bounds. And File kicked it up the field, straight into the hands of number 9. Looks like their fly half is starting a line along with number 11. She's not going down easily.
She is not. I believe that is number 11, La Jeunesse.
Who's been super instrumental of moving that ball up all those yards so Laval can continue making those tackles.
I know that they were trying to achieve a line out, but they seem to get on board fairly quickly with just that change up of making sure that they were still in defense as Carleton collected that ball.
Looks like there's a little bit of discussion with the refs, trying to read his body language, but there just seems to be a lot of pointing going on. We'll wait for his official call. I don't know. What do you think they're talking about? I feel like they're trying to see where they want to take the ball. I think Laval was playing advantage just off that penalty.
I do believe. He's not going to go over and talk to some of the Carleton co-captains. Co-captain for this game is Carolyn Forrester and Malak Saiful Nassar. So she'll be having a quick discussion with the team.
As much as this is a delay in the game, I'm sure the Carleton players are loving the break that they get to have right now, especially those forwards.
Catching their breath.
Scrum down.
I wonder if typically I feel like only those discussions kind of happen when it's a tackling difficulty. So I wonder if it has to do something alongside that, because typically those discussions are not that serious until they are. So
Ball's in. Laval's ball. A little bit of trouble retrieving it. Ball's out. Laval decided to take it up that B gap. And they're having trouble establishing that rut. Carleton's really fighting to keep them from getting it in. Looks like they're going to keep rumbling that ball just in the gaps to create more space, reestablish themselves. They do have plenty of space and speed from their players, as we've seen on the sidelines, if they did choose to send the ball out.
I do think that they're trying to suck in as many forward. Oh, and that is
That's
a try.
Unclear with all the confusion on who scored that try. We'll just wait for some clarification. Once again, just kicking from just off center.
And that score seemed to be tried by number 7, Oulette. Her second of the game.
And the convert was good.
So the official score is 49-0 for Laval.
Ravens really got to oh, looks like the Ravens are making a couple of substitutions. Saiful Nasser is now off the field. It seems like Forrester is also off the field, so your co-captains get to take a breather for the rest of the game. Spence chips the ball, mid-range kick. Just off number 16's hands, goes backwards. She's carrying the ball up the field, right into Carleton's line. They had a really strong push forward there. Laval carried the ball into contact, has it out. A little bit of fumbling with that pass, but they remain in possession. Ball's out. And down into contact. Scrummy's got hands on the ball. Ball is out. Big hit by number 18, made sure to keep the ball going up the wing. I believe that is number 11, and she has proven to be real slippery this game, so good to see Carleton locked her down after only 10 meters. Ball's out. Laval sending it down their wing, right down to the opposite side. Number 16 has her hands on the ball. And she's down. 14's over real quick. Ball's out. A little bit of fumbling.
Fumble. Haas is right on that tackle, making sure, taking them down.
Ball's out. 17 was able to find just a little bit of a gap there, tackle weakness. 22-18. 18, since she's come in the game, has been really good at not going down for Laval, making sure they get those extra meters in that A and B gap. Go Ravens, go. They were able to get the penalty right there. We will see what they choose to do, and it seems that they
making some decisions.
Yeah, it seems that they're making some decisions, and that call was not releasing for Laval. And Carleton has chosen a scrum down. Okay. Ball. Oh, ball is not in.
Seems that there was an issue with the scrum on one of the sides. One of the nines was able to point that out.
Okay. Ball is in. Standstill scrum. 8 pick. Able to keep her hands on the ball. Tips it off to number 4.
It did appear that that was a forward pass just a little bit, and the ref has decided to call it for a scrum down for Laval.
I do agree with the call. It did just come a little bit late, in my opinion. So it will result in another scrum down for the forwards. Oh, and this scrum collapsed, unfortunately, before the ball could go in. Everyone does seem to be okay. Scrum collapsing can be really scary, especially for
100%.
that middle row, because they are so locked in there. Okay, hoping for a better result with this scrum. The ball is in. The scrum seems to be at a rising in the middle. Ball's out. Number 9's got it. She sent it to 23. That was a very lateral ball. 21 seems to be carrying it. She's proving to also be slippery, not going down. Carleton has 3 girls committed to that tackle to take her down. Ball's out. 2 short passes and goes down into contact. Number 9, Scrummy, is in, carrying the ball and gets a try.
And that try was scored by their number 9, Fréchette. And that is her first try of the game. And I guess, as well, of the season.
It's always nice to see a Scrummy get a try.
Exactly.
They have their hands so much on the ball, but normally not in that type of scenario where they're involved in getting the try. So it's nice to see a Scrummy get some actual points on the board rather than assisting with all of them.
As an ex-Scrummy, I can say the ball, it tends to hit your hands a lot, but the amount of times that you actually kind of get to score a try, unless you're scoring it off of kind of like a pick and go or you kind of see a gap, it's not too often, but definitely play a key part in the team. Seems that Carleton may also be making some more substitutions.
And it seems 18, Abby Pennock, is going to be subbed into the game. Taking off number 8, Sierra Haas. Sierra Haas has had a big game, so.
Number 19, Morgan Sweeney will also be coming in.
Try to get some fresh legs onto the pitch for this last half of the half, I should say, for the last quarter of the game.
Essa Hobbs and Gabriella Cote-de-Vavrushin are also coming off.
And that try was not good. She did kick it from pretty far out and at quite an angle. It is Samson's first missed try of the game, but it happens. Jaden Spence with the kick. We'll see where she chooses to send the ball. Mid-range, midfield kick. Caught by Laval. Great tackle and line created by Carleton. Ball is out. Carleton was really quick to that ball, really putting pressure on Laval. '21 and 22 proving to be slippery. 22 is having a really great run. That tackle was high, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right around the back of the shoulders, almost jumped into a piggyback. Ball, Laval remains in possession, sending it down their wing.
Great tackle by Carleton's number 24.
14 goes right into Carleton, making sure the ball is down. Once again, that ball I would consider out. But Carleton's doing a great job at just being disciplined and maintaining their line, keeping the pressure on Laval, making sure they don't get too far on their plays. There was a breakthrough in the line by number 12.
Finally able to.
18, once again, bulldozing through with the try for Laval.
Number 18 is Deville Matt, and that will be her first try of the game.
You know, Carleton isn't playing bad rugby at all.
No,
I think their game has been pretty good throughout this half. Throughout the entire game, actually. The beginning was a little bit rough because they did spend a lot of time in their red zone. But I do believe that their lines, they're very disciplined in their defense. They move up as
100%.
one. Their lineouts have been really good, which was a little bit of area that they struggled in last year, I would say, just with keeping that ball straight, being thrown in. Even with the wind, their lineouts have been pretty good.
They've been able to maintain composure, which is a really key part, especially when you're kind of getting into this. And that was a good convert, again, scored by number 14, Sampson. And that brings our official score up to 61-0 for Laval.
Although I'm sure this isn't what Carleton has been hoping for, I really do hope they keep their chins up and play very well for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, that kick was short, but Laval did touch it, which I don't think they were intending to do.
I think typically they say that it has to go over 10, and it did go over 10.
It didn't go over 10, but since Laval chose to engage with the ball,
Fair.
it is you have to kick it over 10 and before Carleton can touch the ball. But since it didn't go 10, Laval played it, which I think was just a lapse in her thought. Okay, it will be a line out Laval. She's going to have to really focus on keeping that ball straight with the wind. And it's up. It was caught, I think, against someone's leg. Laval, that was a really nice tip by 18 to 21. 21 to 22, up the middle. Carleton brings them down. The ball is loose, and it is picked up by 19. 7 is really on that tackle on Carleton's side, bringing her down. 16's carrying. Close to the wing. And it looks like they're just going to bring that ball back, attacking that B gap. 22 carrying the ball. 21's over that ruck, securing it. The ball is out and sent way far back than I think they anticipated. I think the wind did a part in carrying that ball away, although the pass I don't think would have been completed regardless.
Seemed like it was kind of going to nobody at that point.
And then the wind just blew it back even more.
Great
Caught.
catch by Claire File.
Sends it out to the wing, making sure to keep that ball alive until her team is there to support her in that tackle. And the ball's out. It looked like that was intended to be a tip, but just lost a little bit. Ball's down, securing that ruck. Ball's out to Spence, attacking that A gap.
Again, it just seems that they're kind of catching these balls on flat feet. Which
Another flat-footed catch, just as you said that.
Which makes attacking a little bit hard because you're already anticipating people running up on you.
Okay, Laval is running it in from deep off that kick. Carleton is trying to provide that pressure. The ball was knocked loose but back, and it was caught by number 14. 14 was brought down by 19 on Carleton. This is a little bit messy, but the game's moving. 22 up that wing. Brought down by Carleton just beside that sideline. Sent out to 14, 17. A little bit of confusion as to who that was intended to be for, but 12 caught it. Moving down the field. 22's got all the space in the world. Same with 24.
Laval had their support right there. Really pushing into this red zone for Carleton. So they're going to have to keep their defense nice and tight.
Laval's getting as much space as possible before they really go in for that try. And there was a whistle. And it looks like it'll be called a knock-on, scrum down, Carleton.
Looks like Carleton is also making a substitution. Number 22 will be coming in.
That is Lindsay Pear.
And this will be her first game playing at Carleton.
And it looks like she is taking out Jaden Spence, number 6. Jaden has been really good in this game as a flank, really making sure to get off that scrum really quick and provide support.
Last year, she spent much of her position being in number 8.
Carleton won that scrum, and they did bring it out 10 from their red zone, which is really nice to see, creating that space with those A gaps. Brought down by 21. Carleton's over that ruck. Ball's out deep, going for a kick. Inbounds, caught by Laval, passed really quick hands. She's running up the middle of the field, passed it to 12. A little bit trouble with those passes, but 23 has a solid grip on that ball. And Laval is over that ball with a lot of speed and power. 16's carrying the ball up, attacking that A-gap, passed on to 20. 20's up the field. She's alone, but Carleton brings her down. She passes on to 21, who was there quick for support.
Great offload there.
That was a great run by Laval. 22 gets it out. A little bit of a flat feet catch, but it's okay because they got a little bit of space. Up the wing, right back into that red zone. Maybe 30 centimeters from that try line. Laval's running it up.
Really switched it up, trying to hit that center.
Laval's over that ball. Carleton's working to reestablish that defensive line. Trying to hold the ball up.
And that ball was held up.
That was a really good job for Carleton, especially after that play from Laval. It almost seemed like they switched up their entire playing style that they've been shown this game. So it was really good to watch Carleton adapt to this style of play.
Especially, they've thrown in a bunch of new substitutes. So a lot of new girls, actually, to the team that are also being put into their first varsity game, which is nice to see. I will say one thing that Laval does particularly well is that they punch in with a lot of speed and strength. That ball, when it is out, it is out, and they're thinking on their feet quite well. So,
and they kick it to just around the 40. 15's carrying the ball up the right side of the field. A little bit of a spin move, but back into traffic. It's okay because her team is there to support her when she gets down. 12 sends it to the wing. And 22's foot did just step out of bounds just a little bit. It'll be Carleton's line out. Oh, it seems that they were playing advantage, so it'll be a penalty for, I wonder if that was a high tackle for Laval to get advantage. And the ball's out.
22 carrying that ball up.
Quick offload. Carleton brings them down. The ball's out to 17. 17's carrying it so close to the try line. Looks like she's fumbling with the ball. And the try is good.
And that try did seem to be scored by number 17, LeClaire. This convert will be attempted by the same one who's been doing all of theirs this past day, number 14, Sampson.
She is on a bit more of an angle. But if anyone can get it in, she can. Here we go. And it's just off. But a very good attempt.
That brings our official score up to 66-0. Only a few minutes remain in this second half.
I'd love to see Carleton finish strong, leave their hearts on the pitch. And the ball is kicked just to the left side of the field. Carleton was really quick to get that ball down, make sure to stay on closer to their try line. A little bit of trouble rolling away for Carleton. It's okay, the ball is out. Laval's working its way to their wing, and it hit their wing. Pass was just missed. Looks like it'll be a Carleton line out.
They seem to be doing a really great job, though, of trying to get that ball all the way out using all of the width of the field, making it a little bit more dynamic, having...
Looks like they were, sorry to cut you off, looks like it we're playing advantage, and it will not be
a line out.
A line out. Looks like they're opting for a scrum down off of this penalty. This will be the first scrum of the game with most of Carleton's subs, so it'll be interesting to see how the scrum looks. Turning just a little bit, mostly controlled. Laval won the scrum.
Inside tip.
And she is brought down. Ball is out. 22 up the side to 14. Loses it just a little bit. Ball is out.
Looks like they will be, again, opting for a scrum down. Ref is just trying to make sure that there's wide enough space between.
Okay, the ball is in. Carleton's Laval is really pushing that scrum. Laval did win that
I'm glad that their Carleton's number 9 was able to get out there. It looked like their 9 was just falling back, and it just missed her head.
Okay, and they kicked for touch. We'll see what their strategy is here. I wonder if they'll still do a maul this far up from the scrum line just to get a couple more meters in. Yeah. It was tilted just a little bit more towards Laval. So it'll be Carleton's choice as to what to do next.
I think they're convening, trying to figure out what their strategy is.
And it looks like they did choose to redo a line out, this time Carleton ball.
Throwing the ball in for Carleton is number 16, Sarah Lujetic.
Carleton is off the top with that scrum, sends the ball back, a little bit of spinning. It looks like she lost her feet under her a little bit there, but it's okay because her team was there to support her. Ball's out. Laval was really hard up on that defensive line.
Just seems like Carleton's line was like maybe a bit too flat. Seems like the fly half was kind of anticipating something a little bit different, but running up.
It's Laval's possession. 21 has the ball. Carleton is not letting go, but she needs to drive her feet. Ball out. Pushing it down the wing. And they have a lot of overlap. It looks like Laval has a 2-person overlap. It's really going to be up to Claire File to get this tackle. She did make the tackle, but it was tipped on. And Laval gets another try.
Those wingers on Laval have just been putting in the hard work, trying to keep their feet and drive home.
Yes, and they are very slippery as well. It seems like
Yeah.
they are very good at breaking tackles and ensuring that they don't go down.
And this convert will be attempted by number 14, Sampson. Now this one seems to be quite far out.
And the kicker's up. Unfortunately, it was just outside. And that is game.
That finishes off the home opener for Carleton versus Laval. 71 for Laval, 0 Carleton.
Yeah, we want to thank you all so much for tuning in with us today at this home opening game, and we hope to see you next time.
Stay tuned for all of the rest of the broadcasts coming from Carleton over the next few weeks, and we would love to see anybody come out to watch the next few games. So, thank you.